Hey guys, welcome to apexnerd, where we talk about Marvel, DC, and related comic news and events. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness left every Marvel fan with a handful of things to think about. Comic fans have been talking about some Illuminati for years now, but we never had a clue about how it would relate to the MCU until now. Hold up, who are the Illuminati? As long as you don't live under a rock, you've probably heard the name Illuminati several times by now. The modern idea of the Illuminati is just a top-secret association of a small group of super powerful individuals who control the world. In the real world, there's too many controversial theories about this. But in the Marvel Universe, the Illuminati are very much real, and we finally got to see them in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But if there's one thing we could tell you about Marvel, then it's that they know how to keep some really big secrets. We mean, if there was a Best Secret Keeper in the World award, we'd give it to Marvel in a heartbeat. This time, they were able to keep the Illuminati a secret from all their loyal fans. But what else is Marvel popular for? That's right, dropping Easter eggs. Some eagle-eyed fans have noticed that the MCU has been hinting at the Illuminati for longer than we could have guessed. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane to explain. Does the MCU Illuminati already exist? In Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, we finally got to meet a top-secret group of superheroes that referred to themselves as the Illuminati. Now, that might have freaked out some fans, but we already knew this was coming. Supreme Strange was the one who founded the Illuminati on Earth 838. The panel had some very interesting characters like Peggy Carter as Captain Carter, Carl Mordo as Sorcerer Supreme, Maria Rambeau as Captain Marvel, Black Bolt, Mr. Fantastic, and of course, the legendary Professor X. If you look closely, then this Illuminati panel has one superhero of every faction. We got the Avengers, Magic Wielders, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Mutants, and Inhumans all together in one room. It would have been nice to learn more about this unusual team, but they couldn't last more than 5 minutes in front of the Scarlet Witch. She was really out for blood in this one, wasn't she? Since we know that the Illuminati exist on Earth 838, we couldn't help but wonder if the same elite group exists in the main MCU timeline too. That's Earth 616, by the way. The folder on Iron Man's phone. Now, let's go back to 2010. Back when Iron Man 2 was released, nobody would have imagined that the MCU is planning for things that are a decade away. But like we saw in Infinity War and Endgame, Marvel did a great job at putting all the pieces of the puzzle together in the end. Are they doing it again now? If you go back to the Iron Man 2 scene where Stark is at a congressional hearing, he takes out his phone to hack into Justin Hammer's monitors. We only get to see Stark's phone for a second, so it's really more of a blink and you miss scene. On his home screen, there are two interesting folders. One is S.H.I.E.L.D., which probably had information about the Avengers Initiative. But the other one, to our surprise, is Illuminati. No, we're not kidding. They even used the same font as the comics. Since the MCU was clearly in its early stages back then, the entire Illuminati arc was never fully looked into. But hey, now that we know more about this secret group, it only makes sense that Stark was involved in Earth 616's version of the team. But wait, if the Illuminati existed in the MCU all this time, why haven't they revealed themselves? The only logical explanation is that they've been operating in a secret manner. Some fans even have the theory that it was the Illuminati who told Iron Man to sacrifice himself for the sake of everyone else at the end of the Infinity Saga. Other fans believe that since Marvel Studios loves playing the long game, they only added the Illuminati folder as an Easter egg for future movies. S.H.I.E.L.D. maps might be telling us something. There was more than one Illuminati Easter egg in Iron Man 2. Maybe it's time we rewatch it. If you can recall correctly, then Marvel showed us a bunch of S.H.I.E.L.D. maps at the end of Iron Man 2. This was during a scene where Tony Stark sat with Nick Fury at the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, mostly being sarcastic about why Agent Natasha Romanoff, or the Black Widow as we'd like to remember her, rejected him for the Avengers Initiative. Even though this was just the beginning of the entire Infinity Saga, Marvel dropped hints for some huge future films in just one little scene. If you don't understand, Just ignore Stark and Fury and focus on the background instead. What you'll see is a holographic image of a map with several hotspots across the world. Since there's a hotspot in Greenland where Captain America was later found and even one in East Africa where Wakanda is, we're assuming that S.H.I.E.L.D. was keeping track of these superheroes long before Marvel introduced them to us. But why would they be doing that? Probably because they were tracking where each of the Illuminati members were. If the MCU Illuminati already existed at that point, then S.H.I.E.L.D. could have been the only ones who knew, the original members of Marvel's Illuminati. If you want to know more about who the MCU Illuminati are, then there's just one answer: the comics. Brian Michael Bendis was the first to create Marvel's Illuminati, and they made their big debut in 2005's New Avengers 7 comic. According to Bendis, the Illuminati had been a part of the Marvel Universe for decades. In fact, the secret group of superheroes was formed after the Kree-Skrull War on Earth. As Tony Stark realized how the mutant war could have led to the Earth's annihilation, he decided to take matters into his own hands. He gathered 6 superheroes who he believed to be the best in the superpowered community and convinced them to become the very first members of the Illuminati. This original team consisted of Namor from Atlantis, Black Bolt from the Inhumans, Reed Richards from Fantastic Four, Professor Charles Xavier from the X-Men, and Doctor Strange. Seeing any overlaps from what we saw in the Multiverse of Madness? We sure are. If that wasn't enough, then this group of heroes actually met in Wakanda, home of the Black Panther. Stark even wanted King T'Challa to join the Illuminati as he wanted the world's most technologically advanced nation on his side. Iron Man believed that together, all these superheroes and their teams could prevent any disaster. Even though nobody was buying into Stark's big idea initially, these leaders finally agreed to meet in a secret think tank in times of crisis. Maybe they couldn't prevent disasters altogether, but they could certainly share information and decide what to do together. According to the comics, everyone but T'Challa became part of this Illuminati team. The Black Panther thought this entire idea was faulty. Another interesting thing that we know from the comics is that nobody else knew about the Illuminati. Not Tony Stark's fellow Avengers, not Reed Richards' family, not Xavier's students, literally nobody. This original Illuminati group stayed together until they voted to send Hulk off to another planet. Namor revolted against this decision and left the group. All we know is that the group dissolved soon after. Black Panther's secret war team. Remember how T'Challa didn't want to be part of the Illuminati? Well, that changed pretty quickly. In the most recent version of Marvel Comics Illuminati, the Black Panther decided to bring the group back together for good. Since he knew that a multiversal war was coming, it was only a matter of time before the world would need its biggest superheroes to fight back. Yep, we're talking about secret wars here. But this new group of Illuminati realized that the only way to stop incursions, or one Earth crashing into the other, is to build a doomsday weapon, one that could destroy the other Earth completely. When Cap found out about this deadly weapon, he revolted against the group. Before anyone could do anything, Doctor Strange cast a spell that removed all knowledge of the Illuminati from Cap's mind. Does that remind you of something? Sounds a lot like the end of Spider-Man: No Way Home to us. Anyway, long story short, the Illuminati ended up stopping the multiverse from incursions. They even invited more high-profile superheroes like Medusa, Hank Pym, and Captain Britain to join the Illuminati at certain points in the future. Let's jump back to the MCU now. Enough about the comics, right? Let's talk about what's happening in the MCU now. Many fans have been speculating that the MCU is now building up to its next big event, Secret Wars. And if that's true, then they're probably taking inspiration from the comics to put the group of Illuminati together. Ever since Disney acquired the rights to Fox, fans have been waiting for the MCU to introduce the multiverse and other heroes from alternate realities. Since Secret Wars has the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four all fighting against the same villains, we're really looking forward to the crossover of our dreams. About time, Marvel. There's one more thing. Remember how we mentioned Earth 838's Illuminati that we saw in the Multiverse of Madness? Well, there might be one little detail that you missed. There was an empty seat on the panel. Wait, what? Yeah, you heard that right. We were only introduced to 6 Illuminati members in the alternate reality, but there was actually an empty spot on the far right end. Many fans first thought that it might have been an honorary seat for Earth 838 Supreme Strange. But that doesn't make sense, does it? The Illuminati said that they only told people that Strange died while fighting Thanos on Titan to give the public someone to look up to. In fact, they're probably pretty mad about Strange using the Darkhold to betray them in the first place. So, if that seat doesn't belong to Strange, then whose is it? Our theory is that it's Superior Iron Man. If you're wondering who the heck this Superior Iron Man is, then allow us to explain it to you. This version of Tony Stark is all ego and zero morality, so he's like a 10 times bigger narcissist than the one we know. His backstory comes from the 2014 Marvel Comics series titled The Superior Iron Man, when a spell removed his entire moral compass. He wore silver armor instead of the typical red one and wanted to use his intellect to take over the world. The main reason behind this theory is that the Ultron drones from Earth 838 match the Superior Iron Man armor from the comics. If Stark was on the Illuminati panel on Earth 838, then that's just all the more reason to believe that he was part of the Illuminati in the main MCU reality too. The future of Illuminati in MCU. Since the MCU has finally opened up the multiverse in the latest Doctor Strange film, we can only hope to see more of it in the future. If Marvel is really planning on bringing Secret Wars to our screens soon, then they'll have to introduce us to MCU's very own panel of Illuminati too. The members of Earth 616's Illuminati could possibly include Doctor Strange, some version of Black Bolt, Reed Richards, and even other versions of Professor X and Namor. This would only leave our beloved Iron Man out of the picture. And maybe that's why Marvel hinted at him being part of the panel 12 years ago. Whatever the MCU has in store for us, we can't wait to find out. And that's a wrap on this video. Do you think Tony Stark knew about the Illuminati all along? Drop all your MCU theories in the comments below. Before you go, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more awesome content like this. See you next time.